We gather today to celebrate Earth Day, to celebrate it, and acknowledge our deep love for the earth, our love and our passionate desire that this place thrives. And as we move towards this world that we dream and hope for, anger at the present state of things alone won't be enough to get there. And despair for the road ahead, which you feel or will or have, that by itself won't transform the world. And resentment at our own individual powerlessness is real. And that by itself will flicker and fade out in the darkness. Even optimism isn't enough. Hope's unrealized, sour to despair. Only love is strong enough to carry us all the way into the future. Only a profound falling in love with the world that we dream of is going to give the energy, the power, the resilience, the joy that we need, along with all of the rest of it, to make the work of building the future into the work of a whole life. A friend and colleague, the Reverend Adam Robersmith, writes about the need to avoid despair in environmental justice work. And he does this turning back to the mid-19th century universalist, Hosea Ballou, who taught that we should not make change. This is what the universalists said in the 19th century. Don't make change. Don't make the world a better place. Don't do right because of the fear of some hellish future, lest we link acting faithfully to fear rather than to love. Our faith calls us to make change. Our values call us to make change because it is the right and loving thing to do now. And we feel that fear also. But that's not the fuel. Only a profound falling in love with the world is going to give the energy, the power, resilience, joy to make that our work. For this Earth Day, Unitarian Universalist ministers along the Front Range wrote love letters to the future. And I share a few of these today, including my own. We asked each other, what do you want to tell the generations ahead? What is the future that you have fallen in love with? What do you want to remind yourself? These are all of our questions. What do you want to remind yourself in this year to come about your deep love for the earth? Eric Banner at First Universalist Denver writes this, addressed to the beloved prairie home. Beloved prairie home. I write to you the future from this far remove of time, and yet my soul delights to see your loveliness unfolding. I long to wander your river valleys, wetting my toes in sandy streams that flow from mountains far away and off to oceans I'll never see. I long to see your river running smooth and steady over and around the gravel bars where grebes and coots wander, herons rise from the shallow water, and children gather the left-behind remainders of hickory nuts and black sand shells now returned, shining in the sun. Your water flows between my knees while sturgeon swim calmly by, and Neosho Mad Toms and Topeka Shiners dart in and out of the side channels, fed by the springs that flow once more. There along the banks rise cottonwoods of every age, the young ones just now rising, still green from this year's growth. And there, the great old trees that spread their shade, underneath which grow the walnut, oak, and hickory, standing strong against the wind, waiting to be harvested with care, making room for others to grow anew. Beloved prairie home, I long to be held in the curves of your rolling hills, while blue stem rise high above my head, swaying in the breeze that smells faintly of new-cut fields, promising rich mouthfuls for the family of life, my children's lives, their children's lives. Here the white-tailed deer, bounding off into the distance. There, the bison that wander through this time of year. And then to climb to the highest places, looking off into the distance, where windmills harvest the power of possibility, gently spinning, all day long, while hawks ride currents invisible to our eyes. From this vision of you, there is no escape for me. Your voice sounds gently in my ears. Your touch lingers on my arm. Your form fills all that is, and I'm grateful for it. It calls me on again and again until we make it real once more, until the day comes, my beloved prairie home. Until that day comes, I hold you in my heart, my hands, and in the fullness of my days. Kelly Dignan writes this, a love letter to her city. Imagining it far in the future, she writes this, Dear Denver, I am the 4th generation of my family to be raised in your embrace. And now, 3 more generations have been born, making 7 of us. I am awash with gratitude for the deep roots that bind my family and you. As always before, the bright Colorado sun bathes your streets and snow blankets the mountain peaks in your skyline. Blue spruce and bristlecone pines stand tall, whispering tales of resilience. Dear Denver, now, in this far future, not in times gone by, now, not like in times gone by, I adore the sight of community solar panels on rooftops, casting their benevolent glow. A lush tapestry of community gardens make a blend of cityscape and urban agriculture where hands join in harmony to nurture the soil and cultivate sustenance for all who hunger. The Platte River, the Cherry Creek are clean waters now, weaving tales of resilience, renewal. Dear Denver, because the refinery has been removed and replaced with affordable housing, clean air fills all lungs. Air carries also the joyful hum of bees and the flutter of butterflies. Milkweed and purple poppy mallow, coneflower and sunflower, dotted blazing star, all stand unwavering, a beacon, reminding us of this delicate balance we share. Goldenrod and asters paint your streets in hues of hope, right along with painted art wall murals that remind us of our creative power. The beating heart of your neighborhoods fills me with boundless love. Each street pulsates with rhythm, compassion, camaraderie, neighbors side by side, ready to lend a hand in times of need. In you, Denver, I find solace and inspiration. You are a sanctuary where the beauty of nature and spirit converge in community, in perfect harmony, with ever-deepening love. I'll share one more. This is my love letter to a hoped-for future world. I am driving my children to school in the brilliant bright blue of winter, and I'm thinking of you. Looking up to the mountains, quiet and clear and clean, still I feel close to you. You are the highest summit on the horizon of time, and we will never meet in person, and I love you. Years ago, I had a young man's crush on you, the future, this unconfident desire that told me I could only earn you by being good enough and pure enough, perfect and blameless. And I think of that young crush on the future with chagrin and gentleness, too. I didn't know any better then about myself or you. This is a love letter where I only want to be honest, whole and broken, human. Hoped for future world, you are the lover who prefers humanness to a performance of perfection. I cannot convince myself that I am good enough for you by pretending to be uncomplicated or unharmed or unafraid. There is no way to love the future except to love myself enough to face the hurt that I've done to you and to work for repair. You are my hoped-for future world. You're in my heart every day, and I will not live to see you. And I don't expect you to read these words, but it matters to write them. It matters to tell you that I love you. It changes me. Every day I see things I want to tell you about, that I want you to be proud of, that I want you to know. I wonder what you would think of this bright blue sky, or of the mountains still with snow, or of this spread out suburb and my daily drive. When my children's children meet you, I hope they do it honestly. I hope they tell you the whole story of who we were now, of what we tried to do and what we couldn't, of how we loved you and knew we'd never meet, but lived into loving you all the same. And I trust down the centuries that you love us too, that you're waiting, patient, hopeful, gentle, across every distance.